Hi everybody, it is Jenn and Kanata, and today I wanted to talk to you about what I'm going to be doing today. I'm trying something completely new. I've never done it before, and I'm going to record how I'm going to do it. So, I'm doing a recipe from the Canadian Living Cookbook, and I am going to be making a cheese souffle. There you go. And in this recipe, it calls for 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, a cup of milk, 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar, Swiss, or Gouda cheese, or any cheese that you really want to use in there, a half a teaspoon of salt, a pinch of pepper, 4 eggs separated, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And so I'm going to be basically making, I looked at online as well. It's basically making a bechamel sauce, which also adds nutmeg. So I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg to this recipe just to give it more of a true flavor. And I have it. So if you don't have nutmeg, don't do it. And so it's going to be cooking up basically a bechamel sauce, and then whipping up the egg whites with cream of tartar to make nice form peaks, and then mix a bit of the egg whites in with the sauce, and then taking the sauce and putting it mixed with the rest of the egg whites and just folding it, and then pouring it into buttered souffle dish or little ramekins, or in a bowl or a coffee mug that can go into the oven to be baked. So if you've ever baked like a cake in a mug, those type of mugs, you can also use it. Just make sure there's lots of butter in there, and then put some flour so it can easily come out. And the most important thing is to put it in the oven and don't take it out or don't open the door until it's done. So depending on your size of dish, between 20 and 35 minutes at 375. So I am going to be doing that right now. I'm going to get my ingredients all ready, except for the folding part yet. Just when I find out when my husband is on his way home on the bus, then I will fold that stuff into each other and put in the oven, because once it's ready, you have to take it out of the oven and serve in like 5 minutes. And time management and meals is not my forte. So I tend to not always have everything ready at the same time. So I'm cooking up my baked tomatoes first, getting that all ready so that they're ready, and then the souffle, and that's what we're having for supper. My husband had mentioned something, maybe some meat or that, but what I'm going to also do instead is make a bit of a corned beef hash on the stove, because I have leftover baked potatoes. I'm just going to dice them up and take some corned beef and mix it with it, and I think that will satisfy his meat craving, even though this is supposed to be a vegetarian night. But we will go with the flow, right? Gotta keep the hubby happy, right? So come with me and let's go to the kitchen. So the most important thing is keeping the egg yolks and the egg whites separate. So you have to, and also not putting any shells in with the egg whites. So you take your shell, and just make sure there's egg whites in that bowl. Like that. So here's my egg whites, and there's my egg yolks, and then here's my little ramekin type bowls. I'm going to do these up. They're not very big, and probably another bigger bowl for any leftovers. So I'm now going to butter these ramekin bowls with the butter. So So you take some butter, you make sure you liberally grease everywhere in the bowl, right up to the edge, because you don't want it to be sticking. There you go, and then I will put some flour in there to dust them out. And see, here is an actual souffle pan. It actually has a recipe on the inside too for a special celebration souffle. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 more eggs to the whites and the yolks, and make this as well. So it'll be a big pan and 4 small ones, because I know that there'll be leftovers, and these pans aren't big, but I'm unsure if my family will like them. So I'm just going to be buttering up this dish too. I'm not going to do this recipe. Maybe one day, if my family likes the souffle, I might try to make it as a dessert one time, as a chocolate souffle, or the special celebration souffle, which calls for sweetened chestnut puree, which I have no idea what that is, and brandy. So maybe some sort of nut puree. But no. Need to get a little bit more right near the top. There you go. And I'll do 2 more eggs with this. So I put flour in one of the ramekins or into the big souffle dish, and you shake it all around. Make sure it's all there. Make sure it gets all over the edges, and pour into the next one. So see, it's all floured. And you just keep on doing that until you're done. I'm just shaking it into the other ones. So. Need to put more in this one. Oops. Anyways, the excess flour from here I'm going to be using for my bechamel sauce. So just make sure it's all the way around. So I put just over 3 tablespoons of butter in there, and I'm going to melt that. So there's melted butter. Now I'm going to put some flour in there as well. Stir the butter and the flour. It makes a roux. And then you add a cup of milk. Just pouring. bit of a time. And stir. And pour a bit at a time. And stir. So don't get lumps. If you poured it all at once, you would get lumps. We don't want lumps. Pour. Now, if you need to, if it gets still too thick, you could add a bit more milk to thin it out to the desired consistency of the sauce. Now we add a bit of salt and pepper. So a little bit of pepper. You don't want too much. And a little bit of salt. You want a little bit more salt and pepper, and just make sure you stir it up. See, it's starting to get thick, so I'm going to turn off the stove because I really don't need it to cook much more. But I am going to add a bit more milk to thin it out because we don't want paste. We want like a thick, pourable sauce like this so that it sticks to the side of the pot. And since this is I'm making bechamel sauce, which this recipe doesn't call for nutmeg, but I am putting a bit of nutmeg because you put nutmeg in bechamel sauce, and that's what we're making for this souffle. I'm going to take this off the stove. It stops. I'm going to add my cheese. It would melt better if it was shredded, but I had a block of cheese and I only have a little bit of shredded cheese, and I'm using that for the topping of the souffle. So it'll just take more stirring for the cheese to melt.
Once the cheese has all melted, you will start adding the egg yolks into the cheese mixture, one egg yolk at a time, and stir it into the hot cheese mixture so that it doesn't start to cook it and scramble it, as you want it to be made into like a custard. So you just do it one at a time and make sure you just keep on stirring, and that way it doesn't curdle or cook like a scrambled egg, because then that would kind of mess up the texture you're looking for in your souffle. So you just keep on stirring and adding an egg yolk one at a time, and it will turn out great. This is my first souffle, and so far it is going very well, and I can't wait to try it.
So you take the egg whites and a quarter of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Take cream of tartar and whisk that on high. Well, start low and then go high. Is that done enough? Let's see, let's lower it. No, not yet. Need to do it some more. that is forming peaks. Yep. Now we will fold that in with the sauce. It forms stiff peaks. So here's the cheese sauce and the egg whites. I'm going to take some of the egg whites and mix it in with the cheese sauce, and then I will take this mixture and pour it in and mix with the rest of the egg whites. See? There's the egg whites. And just put my spatula in and pour cheese sauce in there. And scoop the rest out. And then gently fold the egg whites in, not stirring much. There, I'm just going to pour this into the ramekins and the big souffle pan. I filled them about 2/3. I did a little bit more, but I'm glad I did another big huge souffle pan because that recipe definitely made more than these little ramekins. So the recipe did say to put in a souffle pan, so this is what I'm going to do. Look how full that was. So if I wanted to just do small ones, I'd have to get some more of these dishes to do a whole bunch of small ones for that recipe. And you can't really make much. Like the bechamel sauce, you make smaller amounts. You can, I guess, make a couple, but don't they look pretty? No. I'm going to put this in the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. Actually, I lied. I put the big one in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes. This one I'm going to do the little ones for 20 minutes. Just because these will be done before my big one will be done. So I will keep an eye on these so I can see them rise. With all that hustle and bustle, I forgot to add more cheese to the top of the souffles. That's okay. There's still plenty of cheese in it. But look at those rising. Still 11 minutes to go for these ones. And then the big one, another 8 minutes. So I better start getting everything else ready.
There they are, coming out of the toaster oven.
There.
They look perfect. I think I nailed it. Perfect, and they tasted wonderful.
So, that's the other one. There is the big souffle. Look how much it rose. That was 35 minutes in the oven. That's what the sound you want to hear.
Not too shabby for my first attempt at making a souffle. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye, friends.